Hi, Jay Frederick Smith here, Continental Realty of Jackson. Today we are at 4023 Skycrest Drive in the Windy Hills neighborhood of Jacksonville, Florida. It's a pretty hot Monday afternoon here, and we're just going to take a quick look around the outside of this place before we get started on the inside. Just thought it would be nice to see kind of what the neighborhood looked like, what you could expect for your neighbors, you know, if you ended up picking up this place. So to me, the neighborhood looks not too bad. Clean, lawns are mostly mowed, don't see a lot of trash or debris any place. You know, it looks okay. And we're gonna go ahead and head around the back and see what the exterior of this property looks like as well. So this is a off-grade property. Off-grade meaning that the floor for the main level is not on a slab, but it's built up. And I can tell you that is the case because first off, we have these vents here that are letting air underneath the floor joists and whatnot, the foundation area, to circulate air. It's important that you be able to get some air under there when you have this kind of a floor. The floor is up probably 2 feet from the ground, actually. And that's okay. The only thing to consider with this kind of floor is that you have to be careful. Let's see. Well, I see hinges, but there's no gate in the back. So we're going to go back there. We'll have to go back there later. But as I was saying, you know, when you have wood floors, then of course you could have problems with water or termites. And that's really it. Now, this is a block home, meaning that the outside structure is made of stacked cinder blocks, you know, filled in with mortar. And it looks like it's in pretty good shape, but I am seeing a couple of things here that are interesting to me. The first is that we seem to have a fair amount of ant activity up here on the roof area along the drip edge of the roof here. Hold on, get the camera to zoom in, see if we can spot some of these guys. Well, let's just look right here, and you can see we got a lot of ants moving back and forth, and they're all along there. We have them down below too, so we've got a pretty good amount of ant activity at this house. And you know what? That's a typical thing in Florida. We have a lot of ants because the ground is all sand, and as you can see here, you know, the sand makes it really easy for them to dig in and set up shop. So you're going to want to treat the outside if you do in fact get this house. Now the soffits, which is this space underneath the house, look okay. I see some cracking paint under there. We got a wasp nest over here, but I'm not seeing anything that makes me feel like there's dry rot or other problems like that, except possibly that this roof tail right here, because it's separated, it doesn't make the full run right here. Maybe there was some damage to that there at the end, and they replaced that piece of wood. I don't see it, you know, short on this side, only on that one side. Some of these windows have been replaced with double pane vinyl windows, or possibly aluminum. I can't really tell here, but probably vinyl because of the outside that's white, but not all of them. We've got some older windows here as well, and these old single pane windows, you know, it's nice because as you can see from the hinges, they do open up, or at least they should. However, a single pane window, it does not insulate at all. You might as well not even have something there as regards to, you know, how much heat it transfers. It would be the same, in some ways worse than having just a big open space, because the heat from the sun comes just straight in there. It actually amplifies the heat some, and since the window is there, you don't get the breeze to go with the heat, which is too bad. That means basically that your AC bill is going to be up a little higher. And, you know, if you have the opportunity, maybe you could think about later replacing that. Well, I'm hoping here that I can get in the back. And it looks like I can. So let's go ahead and get into the back and take a look there. It looks like it's block construction all the way around. I wish it was on a slab, but it is up pretty high. As you can see here, you know, this step, what do we got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps up. So that puts this at up almost 4 feet, plus the step to get into the door. So we've got about 4.5 feet of height off of the ground. There's supposed to be an opening that would be along here somewhere, or maybe it's on the other side to get underneath it. Yep, okay, it's over here. So that you can get in there and, you know, take care of the crawl space area. That's what that's called. It's a crawl space. The opening is pretty small and it's screened off, which is good. Not big enough to really get into that, so I'm not going to open it and take a look, but that's where you would go under there and just make sure that you're not having, you know, trouble. Also, if it's not already set up that way, that would be where you would want to get in and put down some visqueen, a vapor barrier, on the ground underneath the house. And the reason for that is that the vapor barrier will prevent moisture coming up from the ground and causing, you know, over time, damage to the main supports for the floor or the floor joists themselves or the flooring itself, right? So that vapor barrier is helpful for that way. Also, the vapor barrier, when it's set up with a little bit extra equipment, will also prevent radon problems. Now, we don't really have a lot of radon issues here in Jacksonville, but it's always good, you know, to be set up to prevent. Now, I'm not sure what was going on here because this T111 wood siding, I think, is the only patch of siding for this entire house that it's, you know, it's wood. It's not the blocks. Now, let's just note here for a moment that we have a kind of a separation where it looks like maybe the blocks on one side are a newer add than what's on the other, and maybe this has something to do with that. Maybe there was like a big window or door or something there. I don't know. Hard to say. In any case, the backyard is pretty good sized. Definitely going to need a lawnmower. There's some kind of a structure back there in the back. I'm not sure what that was, but some cement back there. Could have been, you know, a shop or something. Hard to say. And there's quite a lot of vegetation back there along the fence. It does appear to be fully fenced. So all that, I guess, is good. And, you know, it's kept in pretty good shape. Some of these trees I'm concerned about. This guy, I would definitely be wanting to cut him down. Anytime you have a hollow trunk tree next to your house, you just don't want that. And that really should come down. It's far enough away that it probably wouldn't actually hit the house, but I would still want it out. This guy too, it's right next to the house. And although he's in good shape, being right next to the house like this definitely poses a risk. You have one here that's leaning over the house, that's kind of sticking up through the fence that needs to be dealt with. Another little guy here, same kind of thing. These are trees, in my opinion, that you probably should take out. I don't think that you'd be able to get the seller to take them out prior to closing, but you never know. It might be worth an ask. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the inside. And, well, let me just take a quick peek at the front porch here first. So there is a little railed front porch on a concrete, you know, it's all poured concrete for this. The beams here, notice what you've got is this little skinny board attached to that one and another little skinny board over here. And what that says to me is that there was some trouble with the beam in the middle. And so they married or screwed together these other pieces of material to that beam to provide enough support. Whether that was done correctly or not, it's hard to say because I can't really see behind the wood that's been added, right? Can't really tell. But, you know, it does show that possibly there was some issues. Like, you've got a couple of pieces of wood here that are warping. This here looks like maybe we've got some dry rot up there, you know. And so, once again, this is the kind of stuff that we look at, but remember also that we're going to have an inspection. If you decided that you wanted this house, we'd have an inspection, and the inspector is going to be able to dive into that a whole lot deeper than we will today. In any case, let's go ahead and get into the house, and we'll see what that looks like.